Catch 'em all.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is John Bass coming at you with another episode of the Future of Warcraft. Today, we're going to take a rather detailed dive into all the sketchy things that Bolvar 4 Dragon has been involved in since his uptaking the Helm of Domination atop of Icecrown Citadel. First, let's take a step back and re-examine what happened to Bolvar during Wrath of the Lich King and even before that. Well, previous to the events at the Wrathgate, Bolvar was a rather high-ranking member of the Alliance, and was in fact even stand-in king for Varian in a couple of specific instances. So naturally, when the Alliance forces moved north to help deal with the impending threat of the Scourge, Bolvar would be the one leading the charge against the hordes of mindless undead. Unfortunately, as we all know, the Wrathgate ended in disaster, with members of a Forsaken subfaction led by High Apothecary Putris dropped plague bombs on members of the Horde and Alliance, claiming victory in the name of the Forsaken. We later find out, after being touched by the dragon's flame, that Bolvar was captured and tortured by the Lich King. We find this out during the Yogg-Saron encounter in Ulduar, where we get a vision of the Lich King torturing Bolvar, and him saying that I will break you, just as I have broken him. Speaking, of course, of Draenor Sourfang. After defeating the Lich King, the ensuing cinematic shows Tyrion about to take on the mantle of the Lich King, but is instead insisted by Bolvar to put it on his head, as he is already dead to the world and wouldn't be as missed. After Tyrion puts the Helm of Domination on his head and then says, "Now go, leave this place, and never return." All the while, the music that plays during the fight with Yogg-Saron is playing in the background of this cinematic. Now, I know Blizzard said they didn't really give a good enough representation on the relationship between the Lich King and Yogg-Saron, but I don't see how you couldn't see those connections, frankly. So, let's take a look at a lot of the rather mustache-twirly things that Bolvar has been doing throughout Legion. The Four Horsemen is a fantastic way to start this section of discussion. Now, the people that he raised aren't just any old warriors. He raised some fan favorites, like Thoris Trollbane, who was the founding king of the Alliance of Lordaeron and the acting king of Stromgarde. General Nazgrim, who the Horde have become to know rather well throughout the multiple expansions as a quest giver and a well-trusted leader of the Horde armies, turned raid boss during the Siege of Orgrimmar, and even apologized to you as having to face you as an adversary in battle, saying that you are worthy of said battle. Darian Mograine, who anyone who has started a Death Knight and leveled through their starter area, as well as doing a lot of the quests through ICC, including the Shadowmourne quests, has become rather familiar with. And Sally Whitemane, who in life was a high-ranking Inquisitor within the Scarlet Inquisition, and was defeated by Lillian Voss, only to be resurrected by the Death Lord to become an instrument of death, decay, and destruction. Let's take a look at the person that the Lich King tried to resurrect to be a part of the Four Horsemen and failed pathetically, Tyrion Fordring. I have multiple thoughts as to why Bolvar wanted to have Tyrion under his service. The most prominent, of course, being that he is, according to the cinematic, supposedly the only one who knows what happened atop Icecrown Citadel, and having his mind, body, and soul under his control might be able to help Bolvar keep his identity a secret. Or maybe it's more than that? Maybe it has to do with the Lich King, the link between the Lich King and Yogg-Saron, just kind of showing itself. Maybe that the link will show up in the battle for Azeroth or future expansions, as yet another way that the Void is using a great and devastating force to distract mortals from their greater purpose, which I have speculation that the Burning Legion is as well, but I'll get to a little of that in this video and a whole lot more in my next speculation video. But since I'm kind of impatient, let's go ahead and cover a few of those points now. First off, way back during the Ordering of the Great Dark Beyond, when Sargeras came across a void-infected world, he found some creatures known as the Nathrezim, who told him exactly, well, supposedly, what the Void's plan is, which in turn terrified Sargeras to the point of turning against his own brothers and sisters of the Pantheon, and to begin his burning crusade. Much later on, the Nathrezim were also ordered by Sargeras to then create the Helm of Domination to control a Lord of Necromancy, known as the Lich King, which by my theory would then, by this long-term plan Yogg-Saron implemented that was demonstrated by the other old gods, using Sargeras' Burning Legion to then feed them with death, which would then create the Elemental of Death for him, and could use him as a puppet to control the masses of people and force them to serve the old ones. Now, another theory that I have ends in a potentially another third Scourge themed expansion, or maybe even a patch. Now, I know and very well understand that very few of you watching this video have seen the horrors of 40-man Naxxramas, or even know lore-wise what happened after you defeat Kel'Thuzad. Well, after killing him and looting his corpse, you will find the quest item, the Phylactery of Kel'Thuzad, which gives you the objectives of giving the said crystal to a paladin of the Argent Crusade. For those of you who don't know what a phylactery is, it's a crystal created by liches containing their soul, allowing the regeneration of them after being killed at the location of the crystal that they create. Now, for some stupid reason, KT kept his in his pocket or something dumb like that. So we find it on him upon defeat. Now, when we turn it into this guy, we later find out that he is an agent to the Scourge instead of an agent to the Argent Crusade, and he runs away with his phylactery and allows him to regenerate in Northrend. Hence why we redo the Naxxramas raid in Wrath of the Lich King. Yet we don't have one drop in the Wrath version of this raid of his phylactery. So who's to say that Mr. KT didn't get smarter and place his phylactery in a better hiding place than his pocket, giving us another chance to fight the Dark Necropolis and giving us a place for the new Four Horsemen. Alright guys, before we wrap this video up, we're going to take a little sneak peek at what the next video is going to be about. It's a speculation topic that I've been rather passionate about for a long time. The way that the Burning Legion seems like a plot of the Void all along. The Nathrezim themselves, as already previous followers to the Void, were the ones who convinced Sargeras to start his Burning Crusade. They were the ones who terrified him in such a way that he decided that all life being destroyed was better than life being consumed by the Void. To wrap things up, this is the second episode of the Future of Warcraft, where I talk about all the potential outcomes of Azeroth and the worlds farther in the Great Dark Beyond. If you like this video, leave a like. If you support what I'm all about, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And most important of all, leave a comment down below with all your thoughts and opinions on what I have to say. Community is everything to me. As always, thanks for watching and be safe, guys.